Do you ever ask yourself, what can I do about change? What can I do about personal change? How do I help myself through change? How do I navigate change? Or maybe you're asking yourself, how do I coach or help others through change? If you do, you're not alone. Change happens to us every single day, every single minute, every second of the day. It happens to us personally, it happens to us around the world, and it's constant. It's always here. The main question that you ask yourself is, so what can I do about it? The Scared So What methodology was designed for you to be able to stop and breathe and look at change and personal change and what's happening to you. The scared part looks at your feelings. The so what part, which is what we're going to talk about today, helps you to formulate your so what can I do about it, okay? So let's take a look at that. In episode 1, we looked at what is personal change and why is it important to you. In episode 2, we talked about the first part of the Scared So What model, which is scared. And in this model, we actually talk about the personal feelings and the experiences and the actions that you have when you're going through personal change and why that's important. Here in episode 3 today, we're going to look at the So What model. And this is a template for building your own plan for navigating your own personal change. So let's go ahead and get started today and look at So What. Before we get started, I want to remind you, please watch all the way to the end because after today's episode, at the very end, I have another free gift to give to you. You want to make sure you watch it so you can get it and actually begin to use it. That will help you to make your own So What plans right now, today. And if you like this video, go ahead and click the thumbs up, that's right there below, and then make sure you subscribe. Want to make sure that you can see all of the other videos that we've talked about, episode 1, 2, today's, and there are others about the models. If you could hit the little bell, that will alert you to the next videos that come available in our series. So I want to make sure that you don't miss out on anything. What is So What? As we talked about earlier, the scared part of the model is all about you. It's about your feelings. It's about the actions and the decision that you're going to make about the change. Again, it could be a positive decision. It could be a negative decision. That's where your personal choice comes into play. You are in control of any personal change scenario that should happen with you. The next question you might ask yourself is, so what does this mean to me? Or, so what can I do about it? And that's where most of the major models that we've seen and learned about through the research kind of fall short. They're great at what they do, but they don't really answer the so what for you. And that's why we've developed the So What template. So think of it as creating your own plan of action for navigating change. That's pretty important, isn't it? You can make a decision about a change, either favorable or unfavorable, but if you don't have a plan of action of what to do next, you're kind of lost. And so that's where we really want to help you to make your own So What plan of action. Let's go ahead and take a look at what each of the letters mean now. The S stands for strategy. So think of it like if you're at work or if you're at home or anything, a project that you're working on, you've got to have a good sound strategy, which means you have to have a pathway of thinking, what am I going to do about this? Again, any kind of a project, any plan, or anything that you're navigating or doing at work, most generally you're going to have a strategy, and a firm strategy has different talking points, different steps, different actions. But what is your strategy that you're going to implement and make work for you during your personal change? That's the question you should be asking. The O stands for options, okay? So like any good strategy plan, you want to have a list of options or opportunities that you can involve and weave into your strategy plan. So the options are a way of thinking, what will I be doing to execute this change? Or this project or this plan. This helps you to build your strategy, and you've got to have different options or opportunities to make sure that you have a good plan and make sure that it can work. Together, this forms the first part of the model, which is the most important. This is the so portion. So you've got your strategy and your options or your opportunities. These are all the different things that you're going to weave into your plan. Next comes the what, and let's break that down as well too. The first letter is the W, and that stands for way forward. When you've executed or you've looked at or you've built out your strategy and your options and your opportunities, maybe you're talking with others, you might be inviting others' opinions in to have these right. But the next question you're going to come to is, do I have a way forward? And this is a way for you to reflect on your strategy and the options and opportunities that you built in to say, is this the right way forward and the right pathway forward? Again, you can do this by yourself. You can talk with yourself about it. That's okay. You're not crazy. You're just sounding it out and actually reflecting on the actions that you've built. Or you can invite others to participate. Either way, the next stage is the W, which is your way forward. H stands for hope or how. This is a moment for you to pause and actually really reflect on the S, the O, and the W. So again, that's your strategy, your options or opportunities, or your way forward. You really want to think, do I have hope that this is going to work? Or do I know how it's going to work? If you can answer yes to that, then great, you're in the right direction. If you answer no, or I'm unsure about it, then maybe you want to go back and take a second look at your strategy and take a second look at your options or opportunities. You might want to ask others for opinions on how can you firm up your strategy? How can you make this really bountiful and really make it to work for you? Again, by having that conversation with yourself or with others, you can make a firm strategy with good sound options, and that will give you a good way forward. And then you should be able to say yes to hope or how. The A is the most critical part of the model, and the A stands for actions. So here you want to list out what actions are you going to take to make sure that you can execute your strategy, make sure that the options or opportunities are working, ensure that the way forward goes through, and really help to support that you know how you're going to do it. So the A stands for actions, and here you can stop and think, what actions will I take to make this work? Now, this isn't going to happen just immediately. You're not going to do your scared so what all in 5 minutes, right? You got to break it down in chunks and in sections. So you'll do your S, your O, which is your strategy and your options. Think about your way forward. Stop to pause. Do I know how I'm going to do this, or do I have hope that it's going to work? And then what actions am I going to take in order to make sure that my strategy works for me? Okay? Most critical part of the element. The last step is something that we don't often talk about in change management, and this is the T. It stands for taking ownership. Now, you might think, of course, I made the plan. I'm going to take ownership, but unless you actually list down the steps of how you're going to take ownership, you might actually fail. So you need to take some time to reflect on how am I going to take ownership? Write those down. What are those bullet points going to be? Are they going to be timestamps? Is it going to be dates? Is it going to be milestones? Are you going to have check-ins with your coach or check-ins with your leaders or your supervisors, or maybe it's friends and family? You want to write those down and actually visualize what steps will I take in taking ownership so that I can make sure that my so what plan is going to be flawless and executed as best as it can. Now, it's important for you to realize that you don't have to follow the model letter by letter. That's not how we've created it. You can go back and forth. You can take time. You can do a little bit at a time. You can work on your strategy, build in some options. Maybe you want to pause and go seek some help to define your way forward. Maybe to reflect on, do I have hope or do I know how this is going to work? You might go back and forth. So it's not something that you're going to build in 5 minutes. And for every change scenario, you might not fill out every single section of it or write it all down. You might just think of it in your mind. So what am I going to do? What's my strategy? What are my options? What's my way forward? Do I have hope? Do I know how this is going to work? What actions will I take? And how will I take ownership? Those are really important questions for you to think about when change is happening to you. Again, this is all assuming that you've gone through the scared process and you've made that favorable decision. Or maybe it's a decision to reject that change. You're still going to ask the same question, what are you going to do? And you're still going to need your own so what plan. Okay? So take your time, work with it at your own pace, maybe involve others, but most importantly, remember, this is all about you. Personal change is just that. It's personal. How are you going to manage it to make it bearable and achievable? Okay? So, what's next? In episode 2, I gave you your first free gift, and that was the Scared Quiz. Now that's yours. It's on the website at www.scaredsowhat.com. You can download it, you can save it to your computer, laptop, however you like, and you can use it as many times over and over. Give it to your friends, share it with your family. Remember, all you do is just clear out your scores, and then you start over for the next change scenario that's happening to you. If this quiz is helpful for you for a big major change, great, then use it. If it's something that's minor, just think out the steps, think out what scared means, and again, reflect on what it means to each and every one of you. Now it's time for me to give you your next free gift. So again, if you go back to the Take the Quiz section on the website, you'll see at the top there's the overview of the model. You want to make sure you download that because that gives you just a reminder on how the model works. The second one is the Scared Quiz. Remember, it's there for you anytime you want to use it, and it's 100% free. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can be able to see the So What template. You want to make sure you download that, save it on your computer or your laptop or your iPad device, and then when you open it, make sure you click Enable so that you can go ahead and start to fill out your own template. What it is, if you scroll all the way to the left, you're going to read it left to right. It's an Excel template. And so at the top, that gives you the instructions, and you see each of the words are broken down. S for strategy, O for options, W for way forward, H for hope or how, and then A for actions, and T for taking ownership. All you do is just fill it out. It's yours, it's personal. There's some helpful tips along the way alongside each column, and then you just go ahead and fill out your strategy plan. It's your own So What plan, okay? You can ask others, you can take time, you can come back to it and readjust it. So that's my free gift to you. It's available for you anytime you like. Go ahead and download it, and together with Scared So What, you can start your own way of navigating personal change today. I really want to thank you for joining me today. If you like this episode, please again, go ahead and hit that little thumbs up button, and make sure, most importantly, that you hit the subscribe button. Want to make sure that you have access to the other episodes that I shared with you and talked with you about earlier. And then most importantly, hit that little bell because we've got more episodes that are going to be coming up. Remember, change is constant, change is personal. How you manage it makes it bearable and achievable. And Scared So What can help you along that way. Thanks so much. Have a good day.